for me, not for you. So, how you guys doing today? Good. So my name's Tim. I'm here today. I'm as a guest speaker, as the teacher told you. I'm actually a restaurant manager, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about kind of what goes on in a restaurant behind the scenes. Kind of correlates to your guys' curriculum at the moment with supply and demand and stuff like that. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Like I said, I'm here today, and as a restaurant manager, I want to begin by talking about supply and demand. I don't know if you guys ever wondered, if you guys are out to eat, if you ever wondered like what goes on in the back of the restaurant, where they're preparing your food, or if you're just there to eat and you don't really think about it. Either way, I'm going to share a couple secrets with you and maybe change your perspective a little bit. So, a restaurant is a perfect example of supply and demand. We need to know how much food to order every week. At least I do, because I'm the manager. As far as keeping it fresh, keeping it rotated, not making sure there's an over inventory or under inventory. We'll talk about that a little bit further in just a couple of minutes. But that's basically where the supply, comes into play. And then you guys, as a customer, are the demand. So, that's basically determined about how busy we are as a restaurant. If you guys are coming in, or if people are not coming in because of certain factors, a lot is determined by kind of the location. We're centralized in Morrison. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but Morrison is kind of a tourist area. So summer and spring they play a lot of comes into play how busy we are with people coming up with the nice weather, going to the mountains. Wintertime we die off a little bit, so the demand kind of tapers off and kind of tapers on. It kind of fluctuates a little bit. So anyway, we don't want to order too much food to create a surplus of product. Then we'll be throwing stuff away, a lot of waste. We don't want to do that. And by contrast, we don't want to create a shortage either. We don't want to not order enough stuff, to where somebody orders something on that's a special and we don't have it. It's not going to look good on our end. So it's kind of a tricky balancing act to kind of get it even. So anyway, next thing I want to talk to you about a little bit is the quality of food that we are preparing up there. We want to make sure that you guys are receiving exceptional products. So basically, in order to achieve this, it kind of starts on where we order our food from. So if we order from a kind of a so-so vendor that's cheap in price, but their quality is kind of down on the low rung, then it's not gonna produce a final product that's exceptional for you guys as a customer. We don't want any chemicals or any processed food, no byproducts, stuff like that. But on the other hand, we want to maximize our profit with the food that we are producing. So we kind of want to have it as good a quality as we can, and in order to make it at a fair price for you guys as a customer, and because we want to make money, that's kind of our goal in the end, is to make money as well. So that's just another aspect of what we do up there. Last thing I would love to talk to you guys about would be the service. And to me, the service is the most important thing as a manager up there. If we're not giving good service, then we're not getting return customers. You walk into a restaurant, the first person you see is either the hostess or your server, depending on where you go. If they're not smiling at you, they're not greeting you, and they're not making you feel welcome, it could be the difference in whether you come to our place or whether you go next door. It's very important that the service is 100%, the most important thing to me, like I said. And it very well could be the difference in you guys, as a customer, returning. Anyway, that's kind of, in a nutshell, it kind of explains a little bit about, supply and demand and surplus, shortage, stuff like that, kind of in a real-life application. I deal with it on a daily basis. I'd really like to thank you guys for listening to me. I hope it's given you some insight and kind of, telling you a little bit more what goes on behind the scenes at places you guys like to go to eat. I'll answer your questions in just a second. I'm going to have you guys fill out a form for me, just a couple minutes. I'll answer questions if you have any. I want to turn off the camera, and then we can go from there. Give me 1 second, guys.